Now imagine if you were to pack in the parents, the wife, the kids and the dog and drive into the sunset. What better option do you have? Now of course you could call for 2 cabs, split the family and try and get to the same place at the same time. But where's the family bonding in that? What you could also do is opt for a 7-seater SUV. But in the affordable under 15 lakh rupee bracket, everything that you buy is ladder frame, which means it's heavy. So it's not as comfortable as a car and it's certainly not as fuel efficient. What we need then is something like the new Renault Lodgy. Now the Lodgy isn't the first car-based MPV. We've also had the Ertiga and the Honda Mobilio. But the advantage that the Lodgy has, that it has class-leading wheelbase, which means it is a genuine 7-seater with lots of space. Another thing that works in the Lodgy's favor is the fact that it is based on the Duster platform. Now we've seen the Duster platform and seen that it is sturdy, it is fuel efficient and in fact good on driving dynamics, and that should really help the Lodgy. But the one aspect where the Lodgy simply can't match the Duster is styling. It just doesn't have the same visual appeal or presence as the SUV. It looks more utilitarian, and MPVs like the Mobilio clearly are better looking. Now Renault says a lot of work has gone into this India-specific Lodgy. So on the outside, it gets a new chrome grille besides chrome strips on the doors. The overall impression, from the front at least, is of a reasonably upmarket MPV, thanks to the pleasing looking headlamps, chrome outline fog lamps and soft creases on the bonnet. But we are still no fans of the odd looking tail lamps, the overall boxy design and the lack of design lines, particularly on the sides. Now on the inside is where the Lodgy really comes into its own. It's nearly 4.5 meters in length. It has a high roof and it's not exactly short on width like Ertiga or the Mobilio. So the space, be it at the front, in the middle or at the back, is simply fantastic. Be it leg or elbow room at the front, knee, shoulder and headroom in the second row, or even the knee and shoulder room in the third row, the Lodgy has enough and more all round. Yes, the Renault Lodgy is a proper 7-seater. Now a test car here comes with a bench seat for the second row instead of captain seats, which officially makes it an 8-seater. And though the last row of seats are wide, we'd still only leave it for 2 people and not 3 as Renault claims. Flexibility to haul luggage though is pretty good on the Lodgy. With all seats in place, there's enough space for small size suitcases. With the last row folded, the Lodgy can easily gobble up weekend luggage for 5. And when you throw out the last and fold the second row, you can literally move houses with this car. Now this is the top of the line RxZ trim, and though its interiors look different from the one on the Duster, there's a lot of parts sharing. The steering to the front aircon vents, gear shifter, buttons and knobs, and even the touchscreen multimedia system is all from the Duster. So the quality, though not all that great, does suffice. But not having climate control or ORVMs with turn indicators is a miss. In terms of equipment, the Lodgy gets steering mounted audio controls, sat-nav, aircon vents for all 3 rows and ABS and front 2 airbags on the safety front. Now as we've mentioned before, the Lodgy is based on the Duster platform, and in fact it gets the same engines. Now it doesn't get a petrol, which is surprising because the petrols are gaining in popularity. But what you get is the same diesel engine in 2 states of tune. Now there is a 85 PS diesel with a fixed geometry turbocharger, and then there's this, the top of the line 110 PS diesel with a variable geometry turbocharger. Now this one is not exactly a very quiet engine, but once you get past the 2000 RPM turbo lag period, it really does motor along quite well. You can cruise at 3-digit speeds all day long and the engine just won't complain. It's also pretty efficient. The 110 PS version of this 1.5-litre diesel is mated to a slick shifting 6-speed gearbox. The clutch is still a little heavy to use, but this drivetrain option works really well on the highway. The 85 PS engine, meanwhile, comes mated to a 5-speed manual. Between the two, we'd pick the 110 PS version for its power delivery, its throttle response and its pulling ability. Get past 2000 RPM and the engine really comes into its own. One can either rev it all the way close to its 5000 RPM redline or short shift, and the Lodgy doesn't feel short on pulling power. It makes for effortless overtakes and an easy 3-digit cruise. There is some turbo lag to contend with, surely, but it's not really bothersome. The first thing that strikes you about the Lodgy once you sit inside is the seating position. It is quite high for an MPV, and it's pretty similar to the Dusters, so it actually gives you a commanding view of the road ahead. Also, the dashboard design has changed, and the windscreen angle is different too. So on the road, it gives you better visibility than on the Duster. As with the Duster, the ride quality on the Lodgy again is pretty well sorted. On most roads, there is absolutely no problem. It'll go over potholes, it'll go over bumps, it'll go over speed breakers without an issue. Now the ride isn't really plush. It is slightly stiffer, which actually works for a people's carrier because you're gonna have 7 or 8 people in the car. And we don't expect the ride to deteriorate, even when it's fully laden. Now we've been driving the Lodgy mostly on straight roads, so we can't really tell you how it is around quick corners. But what we can tell you is that it's very, very stable in a straight line. You can push as hard as you want and the road can keep undulating, but the car just keeps its poise throughout. There's hardly any lift, there's hardly any body roll, it just tracks very, very straight. Another thing that we'd like to mention is the in-cabin noise. Renault has worked hard to improve the insulation inside the cabin and you can immediately feel that. Now there is still some wind noise that comes where your large mirrors are on the outside, but overall it is a quiet cabin and you can barely hear the engine inside. This should make for a very good highway car. The Lodgy isn't perfect. It's not really good looking. It could do with better seats, and the quality of the interiors also could be improved a bit. But as an MPV, it ticks all the right boxes. It is a genuine 7-seater, and 7-seater for adults. It has the space, it has a practical cabin, be it cubby holes, bottle holders, the like. But more importantly, it's got an engine that really works well. The 1.5-litre diesel is not just efficient, it's great on drivability as well. And then there's the ride quality. So overall, if you're looking for a properly spacious 7-seater MPV, and this one also comes with an 8-seater option, the Lodgy is a fantastic buy. For more on the new Renault Lodgy, log on to ZigWheels.com and also remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel.